Welcome back to the Old Colony Cast podcast about all things Plymouth and surrounding areas. I am one of your hosts, Andy, joined by other host, Hanna.
Hi.
Joined by other host, Fish. I don't think I've done other before.
I don't think I've ever been a host before.
That's also true, yeah.
Like, even when it was just you and me, I wasn't a host.
Congratulations. Get out the plaque.
Interloper.
It's happening.
Great, just a little Ross Perot gif now, thanks.
Okay. Ross Perot?
I'll show you later.
I don't know what that means.
Okay.
What did you have for an update?
So I did have a bit of an update.
Yeah, let's get right to it.
But it's a very, time-wise, a very weird update. Because as we record this, our episode hasn't come out yet.
Yeah.
So we're updating. It's a little tag onto the Zildjian episode, which hasn't dropped yet, but we've already recorded it.
You'll be able to hear it by the time you hear this.
You'll have heard it before you hear this.
Yeah, exactly. By the time I'm saying you're hearing me say this, you'll be like, I don't know what he's going on about. But there's a podcast called No Such Thing as a Fish. It is the podcast that our fish, told me to listen to that got me into podcasts in general.
It's also the podcast that got me into podcasts in general, so it makes sense.
But they did a whole factoid about Zildjian being the oldest company, and the little add-on that Donnie didn't mention. I don't even know why you're married to that guy. Is that the thing that really made Zildjian the household name that it was, especially here in the States, is they were the brand of cymbals that Ringo Starr was playing when the Beatles first played on...
He said that.
Did he?
Yes.
Yeah. Are you sure?
I'm 100%.
It's like when you said that.
I should start listening to the show.
because I had a little joke about it, how Donnie said Ringo, when he played with I think he said the Battles. This is at home prior to recording, but he said...
Oh, this is the whole thing, yeah.
Yeah, and I had to tell the story about how he said a different band name.
Wow, why don't I remember that at all?
And I said, well, that's so funny that he played with a different band that wasn't the Beatles. And he said it was. I was just changing the way I pronounce it, like emphasis on the wrong syllable kind of thing.
So welcome back to the Old Colony Cast, a podcast about all things Plymouth surrounding areas. I'm your host, Andy, joined by other host, Hanna.
Hello.
And joined by Shut Your Face editor, Fish. So what's up, guys?
Yep.
I have no updates. Once we stop recording, it's amazing how much of these podcasts just disappear.
I don't know if I didn't have the anecdote about it that I would have remembered it, but Yeah.
Like, I definitely remember I
don't remember it at all.
I remember the story.
Yeah.
And like when Dan Schreiber said it on No Such Thing as a Fish, I was really like, oh, wow, that's so cool.
I can't believe you would trust, of all the hosts on that show, Dan.
Well, there was no Yetis mentioned.
Doesn't matter.
You know, there's not the fifth member of the Beatles is a Yeti, nothing like that. So.
Yeah.
But go check it out. No Such Thing as a Fish, great show anyways. So let's move on to something else.
Gotcha.
Does anyone else have a pertinent
No,
update?
I don't.
I don't have
Anybody?
a follow-up.
No, nobody?
No, so...
That doesn't...
See, if you guys had one, I would have had a made-up one.
That doesn't segue at all.
Sorry, Donnie.
Either. So...
All right, so...
it's not about a giant mistake. Or
no.
That's a medium-sized mistake.
We've done dumber things.
Oh, I've done way dumber
Like, way
things.
dumber.
Yeah.
So anyway, Hanna, what are we talking about
I'm
today?
trying to think of a way it could segue, and it just doesn't. So we're going to be talking
fine.
about the bird flu.
Okay.
Oh, yay.
That's a thing that's going on.
Woohoo! H5N1. In Massachusetts, there's been an outbreak active since 2022. Do you guys know about the bird flu at all?
How much do you expect me to know
I don't
in
know.
order to qualify?
What do you know?
I know, let's see, a bunch of... I don't want to give away too much. I know a bunch of dead birds were found in Billington Sea.
Yeah. What do you know about the bird flu? Not about in Plymouth, just the bird flu.
I know that birds get it.
Yeah.
That it can transition to humans who are in close proximity. I believe cats. I think someone told me cats. Is that true?
Yes.
So,
Is that a
yes.
true
Anything
thing?
else? Yes, definitely the cats.
No, it came up in the last Inebri-art episode. So
Okay. Oh, yeah, it did, didn't it? Yeah, you just listened to that.
Yes, at time of recording, it came out 3 hours and 22 minutes ago.
That's funny.
And I literally went, "Who's that?"
That's normal.
And then I had to like look up a photo and be like, "Oh right, I do remember talking to that person."
Yeah, that episode was like recorded a month ago. So,
Yeah.
it's not surprising.
It's
If it's what I think it is. I think it's very bad when people get it.
It can be.
It's really
Yeah.
bad
Yeah.
when birds get it.
Well, and most diseases are bad.
So, you're right about the cats.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest details about this flu that people miss is that it's transmittable to all animals.
Oh, anything can get it.
Anything can
That
get
I
it.
did not know.
So what we're dealing with in the U.S. right now, right? So there's like the egg thing happening. Part of the price going up.
yeah.
Part of the reason is bird
The birds
flu.
are dying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So domesticated, which was so funny because I was reading it. I was like, oh, domesticated birds. That's so funny that like, and Donnie goes, yeah, they mean like chickens. I was thinking like your parakeets. I mean, I guess if they were outside.
I guess it could be your parakeet too. But
No, if they're indoors, they're not going to get it.
yeah.
Yeah,
But-
you're wild.
But what if you
outdoors.
get it? Can you give it back to your parakeet?
Maybe. So,
That'd be the worst thing for that bird to get bird flu via a person.
yes. So one of the other bigger thing it's impacting is cows.
Oh, really?
Yes, cattle is being severely impacted by it because close proximity to birds that have it
Well,
most
then
likely.
they're just outside a lot in large collections.
Yeah. So it's spread through feces,
Okay.
water. So if they're sharing water, they'll
Oh, I'm sure then that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's probably.
So like saliva
Yeah.
transmission, that
Yeah.
kind of a thing. So it leans into a pretty devastating.
I have a really. Like, I don't want to get ahead of you, but I have a question that's been kind of like in my brain. And so my landlady feeds birds
Yeah.
like all year round, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And this was like maybe like 3 or 4 days ago. So like bird flu's been here.
Yeah.
And just out of the blue, I was like, oh, maybe she shouldn't be feeding the birds.
It's a good question. Let me answer it with the most common sense I have about transmittable diseases.
Yeah.
Songbirds are, from everything I've read, least affected
Okay.
for a couple reasons. It would be more flock birds that are affected
Okay.
and waterfowl.
Okay.
Okay. That doesn't mean
they can't.
they can't.
Yeah.
So the suggested, because I feed birds all year long.
Yeah.
So it's suggested / good idea. You should feed your cleaners. You should clean your feeders all the time.
Yeah.
So if you're going to put more food in, anything like that, like wear gloves, that
Wear
kind of
gloves.
thing. For humans, we will really only catch it if we're handling a dead bird.
Oh.
So
Okay.
just to be on the not transmitting things to birds side of
Yeah.
life, like the being, washing your hands, like it's more for the birds and less for you. We will really only get it when we're in close contact and proximity or handling a dead bird for
Oh,
a
interesting.
little bit
I
of-
did not
yeah.
know that.
So it would the water transmission wouldn't be an issue?
No, that would be an issue. If there's a dead bird with bird flu in a body of water and you are in that body of water, you could that's a highly
'cause-
effective way to catch the bird
But if
flu.
they drink from the bird feeder and for some weird reason you drink from the bird feeder.
No, it would need to be a sick,
Okay.
like dying bird or a
Okay.
dead bird.
Okay.
Okay. Feces, though, that's why waterfowl are most impacted
Well, see,
because
that's-
there's feces, right?
That's why I was thinking specifically about feeding the birds
Yeah.
is because they crap
They crap everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah. So
all over my car.
they don't hang out in the areas
Oh,
where
your car.
birds, they're the songbirds, like winter birds, those
Yeah.
kind of, they're not flocking to areas that they are then covering with poop and hanging out in. There may be instances where they're grazing an area where there's bird poop, but they're not like hanging out in it.
I gotcha.
So they're less likely to get it. That doesn't
I
mean they're
see.
free of it.
Right.
But they're less likely
But they're
to
not
get
going to
it.
hang out with 40 other birds that are all hanging out pooping in the same
Even
square
think
footage.
about birds that have it. I almost said doves. I mean, they are a type of dove.
pigeons.
They're most like if they're on wires, like they flock together, but like they're not really like they're not in a contained area where they're going to get feces like shared fecal matter on one another. So
Yeah.
Yeah, like the big issue with like waterfowl is they're in the water.
Yes.
And they're pooping in the water.
Right.
And they're swimming in the water and they're eating in the water.
right.
Like the
It's-
bird will hit the feeder and then fly and then
So hypothetically,
I wouldn't hand wash your car, Andy.
come on.
I know.
Don't be ridiculous.
I've gone through a car wash. with you,
Humans
I
are
know.
so unlikely to catch it from open air bird feces.
yeah.
Birds are also unlikely to catch it from open air bird feces.
Okay.
It would be more so like
So it's really like water contamination is like the primary.
I don't want to say the primary because the other option is still an option, but it's just less likely based
Okay.
on like how the environment is.
Yeah.
Like
They just poop on my car constantly.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
they poop everywhere.
I know, but it's like where the bird feeder is
Yeah.
and how like there's like a narrow alley between the two houses.
Mm-hmm.
So when they're done, they fly out between that alley right over the hood of my car.
And at that point, well, they're done.
I'm picking up what you're putting
Yeah.
down.
So it's just
Yes.
like
Well, the
it's
birds
not
were putting it
that
down
birds
too,
poop
that's-
on my car. It's like specifically on my hood all the time.
It's the Andy needs to find a parking spot that's 3 feet away from where he is.
but there isn't.
There's a hydrant
Oh,
there.
I had an update about where you live.
Okay.
I was looking through some old like Plymouth history like picture, where how
Yeah.
they have those pictures and stuff. Where you live, I forget what it's called now, was considered it was a mountain. It's not really a mountain. They just called it a mountain.
Interesting.
And
Were they very, very short?
Forget the name
Well, it's
of what
Pleasant
they.
Street.
No, I know the street's name, but
Yeah.
like it had its own name. It wasn't Pleasant because there's Mount Pleasant preschool is right up the road.
Okay.
Isn't that the name of the cemetery too?
I don't know. Maybe there's a cemetery.
What, Burial Hill?
No, not.
There's like other cemeteries.
Is
There's
there another cemetery?
Im-
Oh, right. No, I know where you're talking about. All right.
But
that
either
took me a
way,
second. Yeah.
this is
yeah.
totally going off in a weird direction.
Yeah.
I will get you the name of it though. I
Okay.
was like, oh my God, that's right where Andy lives. It's like that whole area was considered Mount something. And I think it was more like name of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
But I thought that was cool
interesting.
that it went by a different name at one point.
Huh.
Or a name that was more commonly used. Maybe some folks know what it is.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyways, bird flu.
Bird flu. So back to the basics of how it's transmitted. So we know that it can go from animal to animal. The animals most at risk, at least in our areas, not in a dairy or cattle industry situation, are animals that scavenge
Raccoons and foxes.
because they'd be
and
eating the
dead
birds that were
yeah.
infected.
Sure.
So they would get infected. Raptors that also eat dead animals. So
Yep.
I think vultures, hawks are not unknown to take advantage of that too.
Crows.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
So anything that eats a dead bird is at risk. So a cat is definitely at risk.
Yeah.
Dogs. There's been some advice to give, like, keep your dog on a leash wherever you are, just so
Yeah.
you don't run into the possibility of them.
Because dogs will put they're like a toddler.
Yeah.
They put everything in their mouth.
Yes. Luckily, Victor will most likely just roll on something dead and not really eat it. So still not something I want.
Yeah.
And then if you do have chickens, free range is what poses the biggest threat because they could make their way over to an area that has been infected or has something like
Yeah.
a sick bird over
So if
there.
you
or
keep them in
something.
a coop, it's less likely.
Yes, less likely. That's not free of it,
Right,
right? Because
right.
if one of your birds does happen to get it, then
They're
yeah,
all getting it.
They're all getting
Yeah.
it. You most likely have to euthanize your
Your
flock.
flock.
Yeah. So some of the most impacted types of birds right now, as we talked about, were aquatic ones. So Canada geese and swans are like,
That was.
yes.
Listen, I don't want to say that it's only news when it happens to the pretty people, but I feel like no one cared until the swans were like dying.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "Oh my god, what a tragedy!" And I'm like,
So-
"We're like 50 ducks dead like last week."
So
Yeah, nobody cares about geese.
Plymouth out. I'll talk about Plymouth now. Specifically, Plymouth's outbreak has been the largest in history for birds
In
in the state.
okay.
Okay.
Yes, not ever in the
Well,
state.
I was just wondering what the qualify. Like, are we talking like in Plymouth, in the state,
no,
in
yeah,
the
I was-
country?
in the state.
I was just trying to
that's,
figure
still, that's still pretty lousy.
Yeah, that's not great.
So there were 71 dead birds on Billington Sea from that event.
Yep.
There's been others since then.
I saw a Facebook post, so
Yeah.
take it with a grain of salt because I did zero investigation because I just was not interested and didn't have the time. That someone said they saw, quote unquote, hundreds,
Yeah.
so 20.
It can when you see 71
yeah.
dead birds, that can
Oh,
look
I'm
like
sure.
a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
But I mean, like people will just jump to hundreds.
Yeah.
On the canal.
Oh my god.
And that was maybe last week I saw that. But
Wow.
I did not follow up at all.
Right. So 71 dead birds in Billington Sea. And there was also a flock of domesticated chickens that lived in the Billington Sea neighborhood.
Okay.
There was 30 of them. They had to be euthanized. Within the 71 dead birds on Billington Sea, it was 42 geese, 26 swans, 3 ducks. In the state currently, anywhere from 300 to 1,000.
Wow.
Very large, like,
Yeah.
window. Bird deaths have been caused by the avian flu. There's a few factors in this that cause some skewed numbers. The same bird could be reported more than once by people.
Sure.
And they say it's very likely most of the birds are not being found that have it. So it could be even the likelihood that it's greater than that
Yeah.
is the better possibility.
Right. Because I mean, the ones that are just out in the wild somewhere.
Yeah. Like dying.
Yeah.
They're dead. Let's see. But you're right. Yeah, people didn't start caring until the
Swan's dead.
swans. I think one of the biggest things that made me like very concerned about the timing of how this outbreak has hit Plymouth is it's going to hit both sets of migratory birds.
Yeah.
So it will have our winter like Arctic visitors,
Yep.
which are mostly waterfowl, coming and going to places like Billington Sea. That's
Yep.
where they stop on their trip. That's like the swans are making their way around. Billington Sea is like an airport for
Yeah. And I mean, that's one of those like,
yeah.
those are the worst birds to get it because then they're just going to take it and go somewhere else and spread
Yes,
it.
and
Yeah.
then we're going to be getting our spring birds back very soon. So
So the robins and
robins are here year round
Yeah,
mostly.
a lot
are
of
they?
them.
No.
Yeah. So
I
blue.
thought they were the sign of spring.
So no, they're here year round.
Yeah, they're pretty like constant in my backyard.
Yeah. Blue herons, great blue herons. Any other heron
that'd be
we get.
see that then I'd suddenly be like, oh, that's sad.
So yeah, let me lay out what we're really dealing with.
not throwing shade on
Yeah.
swans. Swans are pretty.
No,
but,
great
like,
blue herons.
They're awesome.
Some of them stay year round, but not all of them.
Yeah,
And then
but not flocking. They're not flocking birds, are they?
they're not, but they're aquatic birds.
Yeah,
Oh,
they are
right.
water birds.
Yeah, gotcha.
So and they do nest together
Yeah.
in their
Yeah, they
rookeries.
rookeries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're very cool rookeries. I love them.
What about the piping plovers?
Yes, I'm gonna say, and this is not like don't take my word for it. I'm not a scientist or anything
Yeah.
like that. The ocean tends to lean itself a little bit more forgiving to diseases.
I could
like
see that because it's not not that ponds are stagnant, but,
But
it's
it
not,
moves a
it's
lot
moved.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
There's
know.
a lot more water to.
It's still
Yeah.
there. The
Yeah,
risk
yeah.
is still there. But yeah, plovers would be one. Let's see. Then you start with like any of the other songbirds that make their way in. Again, less of a risk, but like orioles are here.
Yep.
Hummingbirds.
Hummingbirds. I just saw a chart.
You know. But bless ya.
I just saw a chart that showed when the hummingbirds were coming back, and it's soon.
Yeah, they're on.
Yeah.
They're like starting their trek. Among many other birds. But there's a lot of...
Has anyone checked in on Larry?
Who's Larry?
Celtics player?
Yeah, he hasn't been around here in years.
Oh, Larry Bird.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, what?
He's not migratory. He's pretty much just always in Indiana at this point.
Oh, okay.
So just some thought on how vast the impact could be. More recently, it's kind of crazy because these articles have been coming out about these bird deaths for a while. So looking back, saw that one from like the Plymouth Independent, I think, and then there was another one about some snowy owls that have died.
Oh, okay.
And one on Duxbury Beach tested positive for it. So,
is there something they can do to treat them, or is it just that they have to euthanize them?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, they're found dead. They're not testing animals.
Oh.
They're finding dead ones.
Gotcha. When you said they tested positive, I just...
Yeah, they're like, let's just go out and... No.
I thought they got the little swab and stuck it up its nose.
No. And, I mean, I don't know how aggressive efforts would get with that. This is like a CDC kind of controlled scenario / Department of Agriculture, stuff like that. Like this is all concerning of a few different areas of our livelihoods as people who live in the area. And depending on like how much it impacts society, like that will be how serious it's taken and what steps are taken to that. So I don't see a world that they are testing birds ahead of time.
Yeah.
Unless for some reason they are very at-risk, like, species. And I just don't think we have that in our area. Ospreys. Ospreys are another bird that coming back. Sorry, I just thought about it.
It's just, I was like...
Wait, there's another one. So anyway... The most impacted area is Southeast Massachusetts and the greater Boston area. I just told you about the snowy owl. That is very sad. There's nesting pairs on the Duxbury Beach, Saquosh area. I don't know how many, but I've seen about 6 myself out there. And again, they're a migratory bird. They're from the Arctic. The Arctic, yeah. So hopefully they don't bring anything anywhere else. It can also take days or most likely months to get testing back. So
it's not a quick...
No.
Yeah.
So again, it kind of skews the numbers of how many birds have actually died from it because we are currently waiting on who knows how many tests to come back to confirm.
From November or something. Yeah.
Yes. Let's see. So I wanted to make like a public service announcement about this because birds are so near and dear to my heart. But also the public like health concern of it is that it can be transmitted to people. We have had some cases of people getting the bird flu. I haven't like checked into it too much for people because it is so rare.
Yeah.
But the symptoms are like very similar to a regular flu, but it can vary from like some people barely feel it. And then some people like get really like it's like vomiting, it's like except like losing consciousness, it's like an extreme illness. And then they say the one more common symptom is very red eyes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. But other than that, not a lot of common symptoms.
For the birds that are symptomatic, is it, and I have a very specific reason why I'm asking this, is it kind of like a rabies kind of response where like if you see birds like in places that they shouldn't really normally be or up and out at times that they shouldn't be, or it's just not like that kind of...
No, it's not.
Okay. Because it was like a early evening, I wouldn't call it late night, but maybe like might be nighttime. There were ducks walking down Middle Street.
That's so cute.
And people were like, but people were freaking out because like that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, oh my God, do we call someone? What do we do?
Yeah.
Like it's that you know that the bird flu is there, but you don't know how it presents or what to do.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I know what you mean. I'm sure in the final moments of their life, they're not looking great.
Yeah.
I don't think they're in a position to walk down Middle Street. for birds, this is like a death sentence.
Yeah.
So like it's very quick. It's
Oh,
not.
is it?
Yes, it's
Okay.
not like. I don't believe it's like I'm out for a week with this. I think it's like just like a ticking time bomb for them.
Yeah.
Like it's not like they probably have just a couple days
Wow.
once they cut it.
Well,
That's
most of them don't have the body mass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, usually stuff that kills that quickly doesn't spread well because it kills faster than it can spread.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, but I think because it's in the water and in the
Yeah.
feces,
Yeah.
it's kind of.
And I'm saying that with my like I'm
Our armchair scientist.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's probably just a couple days. I'd say probably like for them to have like visible symptoms to people.
Yeah.
Right. And what does that even look like?
Well, that was the thing is like, and that was kind of the question was like,
Like
is that a symptom? Because like if you see
like confusion.
if you see like a nocturnal animal
Yeah.
out in the middle of the afternoon, that's like a sign that they could have.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, I was just talking about this too because that trope kind of drives me a little bananas. The nocturnal animal in the middle of the day thing
Yeah.
because it's not that true.
Yeah, and sometimes they're just up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just these are why we're having the conversation.
I know. I literally was just
Yeah.
telling Donnie about this because I saw like bunnies are considered nocturnal.
I see them more at night than any other time.
That's what it means. It means they do their
I thought they were technically crepuscular, so they were like dawn and evening.
I guess
types.
they are, yeah.
Like it's not like you're not going to see them at 2 a.m. You're going to see them like
I've seen one at 2 a.m.
you're not like you're less likely to see
No,
them
I
at 2
know
a.m.
it. No,
Like,
no, you're right. They
there
get
are
it.
often rabbits hanging out in my front yard when I leave for work at 4:40.
They're all there, but that's the thing. They're
I
all
was
the
hit one
time.
the other day.
They're all the time. I know it's so cold. That's why I was shocked to see one. But this is just my like soapbox moment. Nocturnal doesn't strictly mean just for everyone that out there. Doesn't strictly mean that these animals will be asleep during the day. It just means most of their activity is done at night. It doesn't mean all of it, and I just want everyone to know that.
I mean, they might have to get up and go pee.
Exactly. Or like they live in a world where there's people around. They probably get woken up and just don't feel safe in their area and have to move.
Yeah.
So coyotes, raccoons, like the more common ones, or foxes. Although it's more rare to see them during the day, foxes in particular, because they do have like still have a fear of people. Coyotes are a little bit braver, and raccoons are just opportunistic. But like a bat would be one that I would be worried about.
Yeah.
All the other ones, like, just keep your distance, and unless it is acting weird during the day, and then that would be another story. But if there's a raccoon in the trash during the day, it's not a big deal.
But it's also one of those. You should keep your distance from wild animals.
in general.
Period.
Yeah, so of course,
End of story.
So anyway, back to the bird flu. Right. So there's a few things I wanted to put out there because it was on the CDC and MassGov website. So if you happen to see 5 or more dead birds together or near each other, you should report it. I know Plymouth has like a number up,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, you see it anytime you head down Court
Right.
Street.
So, there's a Mass.gov division of wildlife and fisheries and wildlife. There's a submission form there online that you can fill out, and that is for Massachusetts. If you are in Plymouth, there's a different process at the moment. There is a number you can call. I don't have it because I didn't have that board in front of me.
But Google.
Yes, Google it.
Bird flu number, Massachusetts. You'll find it.
For the state, if they're sick domesticated birds, the phone number is 617-626-1795. This is another little layer. If you see a single snowy owl, bald eagle, or peregrine falcon, you are to report that if it is dead.
Really?
Yes.
Is this in general? It just
You don't know what it's dead from.
okay.
You're never going to know what an animal
Why
died
those
from.
ones specifically?
I think they're a little bit more.
Susceptible? Or?
No, just their specific type of bird that needs more regulating.
Well,
Yeah, because
I know like bald eagle and falcon. Like there's rules in general. Like I don't think even if bird flu is not
Right.
a thing, you can't touch it.
No.
You know. Am I right on like that?
That seems. I mean,
What do you mean, like if they're dead or
If
they're alive?
like if you're dead, you can't be like, ooh, a bald eagle. I'm gonna go take a feather or two. Like,
Yeah.
you can't.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see what
do
you're
remember
saying.
there were very
Yeah.
specific rules
Yeah.
about like bird of prey feather collecting.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
So I
So-
think that's why it's like you cannot touch them. You should call someone.
Don't touch the dead birds at all.
Don't touch dead things.
Yeah. This is like, if you could take anything away from this episode,
Yeah.
please don't touch any dead birds you see. That's like the point of this episode.
Unless someone passes it out a window to you in a KFC bag.
Quite
Yeah.
literally, how people can get the disease is by handling dead birds. So don't touch them, just report them. These birds specifically were listed as if you see a single one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you see a single dead cardinal, they're not asking you to report it. If you see a dead bald eagle, you should report
You
it.
should report it. And don't touch it.
Don't touch
That
it.
means don't put it in a box and then report it. It means don't touch it. Period. End of story. Don't get a garbage bag and use a garbage bag to pick it up. Don't touch it.
Yeah, just don't touch it.
Just don't touch it.
Yes.
Just leave it where it is.
Right.
Call somebody.
Call someone. Let the professionals handle it. Also leans into, right, because if the bird flu's still active and these birds are in such touristy areas.
Yep.
So think about Billington Sea.
Oh yeah.
How will that impact this, like, summertime activities?
Oh
on
yeah,
those
yeah,
ponds?
Well, there's no way those ponds can be open for people.
That's what I mean. Like, it's
Well,
not.
not now, but I mean,
But well, not just because it's 45 degrees out.
yeah, but I
like,
mean, this is the world we live in.
So-
That people are going to be like, you can't tell me where I can and can't
Yes.
swim.
So no, I'm not joking. Like, days after that thing happened on Billington Sea, my friend texted me. She was like, "There's people ice fishing on Billington Sea," and I was like, "That's crazy."
yeah,
I don't know how fish are impacted. I feel like
but
fish are like.
but the other thing is like
fish is on fish.
but I was unaware that it was spread through the water.
Yeah.
So like,
Yes, and I think to the reasons that we described, because birds are like eating
Yeah.
stuff in the water, and there's feces in the water, and there's all that. I'll never forget one time I was swimming in the pond I grew up in, and we went over to this. Someone put in a new dock, so we went over to it to use it,
Yeah.
and there was a dead goose right at like the bottom of it, and to realize that you were swimming in a body of water with like a dead animal in it was just like unnerving.
it's unnerving, but it's also if you're swimming in a body of water,
There's probably a dead
there's
animal.
a dead thing in it.
I know.
somewhere.
I
Yeah.
can't. I can never not think that now.
Yeah.
Every time I go swimming.
Yeah, and people are always like, "Oh, there might be fish in there that bite me." I'm like, "There might be a dead thing rotting on the other side of the
Yes.
pond."
Yeah.
Oh, there is a dead thing rotting on the
Yeah.
other side of the pond. I mean, that's just how it. The pond is big enough. There's dead stuff.
Yeah.
That's how ponds work.
So isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Not me about the goose.
So now I'm very curious to see what happens with the ponds in Plymouth because it
Okay.
will be
What about
World
fish? Did
War
you find
III.
something
Okay,
out?
so for what it's worth,
Fish
Yeah,
don't
fish.
get
What'd you
it.
find out about fish?
it is actually very difficult for it to transmit because it is a respiratory disease.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes
and
sense.
fish have such a very different way of breathing that it's very, very.
I was gonna say I feel like fish for some reason are fine, and I'm glad you confirmed that.
The
Yeah,
aquatic
it's-
fish, not you fish.
No, I wouldn't. I'm not handling dead birds just because. Yeah, I wouldn't do it
Because
anyway.
I said so.
Yeah,
So I think fish is okay to do it though. Out of everyone.
yeah,
all right. So yeah, if you see a dead bird,
yeah. He's
call
not
me.
a flocking animal.
Yeah.
If anyone sees a dead fish, like Fish the editor fish, please call someone.
Please call the police.
Don't touch
Yeah.
him. Poke him with a stick.
I know.
Please don't poke me with a stick.
So lots of lessons
leave
in
me
here
be.
today. Lots of lessons about the bird flu.
No, I'm glad you, because like I said, I was driving home and just all of a sudden, out of one of those like brain moments where your
Yeah.
brain is just like, hey, maybe you should think about this out
Yeah.
of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, like, because she's elderly. Like, I'm sure if she got it, she would not do
Right.
well.
Yeah. So I wouldn't worry about her.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good practice to keep your feeders clean. And,
Yeah.
and the likelihood of her getting it from that
And
is
maybe just be like, maybe you should wear some gloves.
almost impossible.
Yeah.
And it's, better for the birds to keep them clean and,
Yeah.
and less of a risk for you.
No, she'll be happy to hear that, because
Yeah.
I kind of like mentioned it to her and she was kind of like didn't know what to do, and I'm like, I'm not saying
Yeah.
I'm like, it might just be a good idea to hold off for a little bit.
Honestly, too, if you're that worried about it during the summertime, the food they have food. Like they don't need feeders during the summer. So like if you think that it's drawing a lot of the contagion like elements to your yard, like you can take a break in the summer and not feel bad.
It would probably be better if she didn't have her bird bath. Mm-hmm. That's probably more dangerous.
Yes, the bird bath, like take that out of the equation.
Okay.
Yes.
Good to know.
Yeah, for sure. That was my plan for the summer too. If we're still at the level we're at, which we are, because I don't see any plans of in the works of trying to mitigate this even a little bit. So,
well,
it's very hard to. How do you do it?
It's very hard to.
How do you do that with wild animals?
And I don't want to get too political, but when you have an administration that's blocking the release of like where the flu is breaking out, let alone other things like that. I mean, it's impossible for anyone to track. Yeah. Of like, has it gone to humans?
No, it definitely has.
If the government's not.
Yeah, the avenues that we would normally lean into to find the stuff out, you can't rely on anymore.
Yes. Yeah, trust is not the right word. You can't rely on them because their hands are being tied.
Yeah.
Which is a great segue to the next topic on our next episode.
Which is not Zildjian. No. That was the last one.
Yep.
Yes.
I'll try to have a more updated update.
That's so funny. But I think this is the part where we stop talking.
And thanks for checking out the show today, listeners. If you enjoyed the content today, you can go over to patreon.com/Inebri-art to support the show. You can join over there for just a few dollars a month and help us provide this fun content that you just checked out. You can also email us at Inebri-art.com with your questions, complaints, and concerns, or you can find us on all social medias at Inebri-art or at Inebri-art6 on Instagram. And also don't forget to check out our other shows, Bar Talk Podcast, Old Colony Cast, Inebri-art, and all the other shows on the Inebri-art Network, which you can find at Inebri-art.com. So thanks again for listening.